Hi, my name is Moriah Corry, and I'm taking astronomy class for Charter Oak State College, and I nominate Williamina Fleming for my Nobel Peace Prize. The three nominees I chose for this Nobel Peace Prize was Carl Schwarzschild, who discovered the black hole, Williamina Fleming, who discovered the Horsehead Nebula, and Fritz Zwicky, who discovered dark matter. In Fleming's early life, she was born in Dundee, Scotland, and she was one of 9 siblings. She also was a teacher at age of 14, so she pretty much had a lot of education while growing up. And in 1879, she was pregnant, and she traveled to the U.S., Boston actually, with her husband with no money or nowhere to live. So after that, she decided to get a job and work at Harvard College Observatory as a maid or a housekeeper. In Fleming's work life, she was a maid or a household keeper for Edward Pickering, who was a professor at the Harvard College Observatory. And as she was there, she was able to be hired in 1881 as a clerical worker and do mathematical calculations. So at 30 years old, she was able to catalog her 10,000 stars and discovered 310 variable stars, 10 novae, 52 nuclei, and white dwarfs. And she published those findings in the Draper Catalog of Stellar Spectra. And if you see in this picture here, these are the women that she hired at the observatory, and this was the start of Pickering's harems on discovering the stars of Pickering's harem. And in 1898, she became the first woman curator at the college, and she succeeded very well. So she was able to hire more women with the discoveries and different explorations in the galaxies to make sure that everything was able to be discovered properly. Now, one of the best discovery that Fleming made was the Horsehead Nebula. She actually discovered the Horsehead Nebula as, I quote, as a semicircular indentation 5 minutes in diameter, 30 minutes south of Zeta or Orion. So this Horsehead Nebula is also known as Barnard 33 or B33, and it's in the constellation Orion, and it's best seen in the winter evening sky in the northern hemisphere and in the summertime in the southern hemisphere. So the different colors of pink and red is actually the hydrogen gas that surrounds the atmosphere. And the actual picture here was taken in 1888, and it's found 1,500 light years away from Earth. And this photograph was able to see where the actual nebula was. Its name comes from the way that it's looked and shaped. So if you can see in this picture here, it has a look of a horse, and like in the head part, and then on the top, and then on the bottom it has like a little swivel that's kind of like the body of the horse. Fleming made many accomplishments. So she was the first person to have photographic standards of magnitude, which means that it measured the brightness of the stars and of the stars that has light that fluctuates. And she developed the Pickering-Fleming system to classify the stars by the spectra, and I quote, alphabetically and according to the strength of the star's hydrogen spectral line, and I quote. So in 1907, she was made honorary fellow in astronomy and at the Jump Cannon's alma mater, and she was the first woman to be elected honorary member of the London's Royal Astronomical Society. So in 1910, she published her discovery of the stars, and she named a lot of her discoveries after certain things in her life. and she found out that when she published her book, she named it the Draper catalog. Well, it was her discoveries were in the Draper catalog of the stellar spectra in 1870. So, in May 21st, 1911, she actually passed away of pneumonia at age 54. I hope that she gets a nomination for the Nobel Peace Prize through all of her her discovery of the Horsehead Nebula. This was a significant find, and the way it looks is remarkable, even though it's only 1,500 light years away from Earth. You can actually see it in the Orion's belt, so that's not too far from Earth, actually. So I hope that she gets nominated for this Nobel Peace Prize, and she is a great person to be nominated for this accomplishment. Thank you.